So today I'm going to be diving into part two with the news. So if you didn't catch it, make sure you listen to the previous episode to hear part one. We're going to be diving more deeper into this topic and into gut health. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear from Anu and her expertise. Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michele, mama 4 and military wife, and I'm passionate about helping women get healthy from the inside out so they can feel better and live their best life. Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight and get in shape? If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably, then you're in the right place. I combine my expertise from my doctorate in physical therapy to my experience as a health coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher to bring you actionable steps for a healthy lifestyle. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving.
And I think one more thing to add as far as restrictive diets, when we are on restrictive diets, we miss out on a lot of important fiber sources, that are really nourishing our gut bacteria, like flavonoids, polyphenols, things like that. So research is showing that, in fact, there was one research that completely changed my weight loss program for women in their 40s and 50s. The research showed that women can go on restrictive diets and lose the weight, but the gut microbiome holds on to the obesity memory. All of the other metabolic changes, let's say your blood sugar issues or cholesterol, all of that can be back to normal, but the obesity memory, that lingers. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons is because we don't have a lot of this flavonoid burning bacteria to go to bat for us. So it goes back to that old memory and we gain the weight back, and sometimes even more than before. So rather than going on extreme diets, we start eating sensibly for the body that we are in today.
Yeah, I like that. Eat sensibly. It sounds simplistic, but that's really what it is. We have to do something different because we're just surrounded by so much junk food. And so I know you've talked a lot about protein and fiber, and you can give more specific examples in fiber, but what do you recommend to really help change that gut microbiome, how to add some of those good bacteria in there and have less of the more toxic bacteria?
So luckily we are at a time in technology that we have some good shotgun sequencing available to us. Basically what I mean is that you could run a test, a stool test, and see who's in your distal colon. And that's a good representation of what's in your feces. So based on that, you can say, hey, is my diversity high or low? Do I have good keystone species that are helping me lose weight, helping me either burn more calories or keep inflammation at bay, keeping my gut lining tight? All of those questions can be answered just from looking at the bacteria that are inside of us. Let's say you have very specific symptoms like constipation. There are certain microbes that can really exacerbate constipation, or diarrhea on the other hand, or just bloating, could be just the microbes in the wrong place. So we get a lot of information from technology today, and it's so accessible. It's not very expensive. And if not anything, it just perks the curiosity of clients like, wow, where's my microbiome? And if this is the data I have today, in 3 to 4 months, if I start feeding it, where will it be? So that's a great starting point for people who liked data. Others are saying, I'm just organically going into this, just feeding my microbes the food that they want. That's completely okay too. And the way you do that is you start, in the book, I say, let's start with a foundational layer. That's all your fruits and veggies, that's something all of us can do. So if you're eating, hey, but Anu, I do eat fruits and veggies. Crank up the diversity. If you're eating broccoli from Whole Foods every day, change it to Chinese broccoli from the Chinese market, or an Indian vegetable. So that's what the microbiome likes. It likes diversity. It doesn't want you to eat copious amounts of food, but it wants diversity in different categories. So you start with the foundational layers, and then you enhance it with certain things like herbs and spices that are really polyphenolic rich. And then you can add things like good fats. Avocado, olive oil is one of the most friendliest fats for the microbiome. And nuts and seeds, chia, hemp, the usual suspects, you could add all of that. And on top, the top layer could be all the functional foods, beta glucans, polyphenols, fermented foods. All of that would be fantastic way to grow your microbial diversity. And I think for this to happen, you need a system. Because if not, our brain doesn't work that way. Say, oh, I'm just going to eat all this every day. No, as soon as we get stressed or a deadline appears, I mean, that happens to me too, right? Like I have a deadline. What's the first thing that goes up our consciousness is food. It's like, okay, I'm going to grab anything that works for me today. So if you get into the habit of really creating a system around foods that you choose, and that's why the rules need to be simple, Michele. I think today we focus every day on single nutrients. This is good, beef tallow is good, seed oil is bad. This kind of fat, it doesn't help us as a consumer because we are bombarded by decisions every day. And it's the same part of the brain that's also thinking about what do I cook for dinner? So instead, we say, let me anchor my protein. Let's get some lean chicken, turkey, or if you're vegetarian, vegan, tofu, tempeh, whatever your protein is, put that on my plate every single meal, and then surround it with my foundational layers, some enhancers, some functional foods. Start thinking like that. Think of your plate as this little sections. Then before you know it, it's going to become a procedural habit. Just like brushing your teeth. No one needs to tell you to brush your teeth, and no one needs to tell you how to eat. You're going to learn and recognize that this is what works for the body. But only you, as the end user of the diet, can really determine is this working for you, because your body is unique. That's one of the reasons when people ask me, what is the best diet? I don't know. I can give you guidelines, but it has to work for you. If your body is so distraught from all of the restrictive diets over the years, it's going to take you some time to build the ability to add more fiber into your diet. So it can't be on day one that you add 50 grams of fiber and be okay. You're going to kill me, if I suggest that. So it's going to take some time. So again, the final thing is, it's you're unique. Your body is unique. So start from wherever it feels right for you. Keep the rules simple.
Yeah. And so how does fermented foods play into that, like yogurt or kimchi or those kind of things?
Absolutely. And I think there's some confusion about probiotics, prebiotics, and all of that. So probiotics, by definition, is anything that confers some kind of benefit to the host, which is us, right? So when you think about fermented foods, they've been in every culture, right? It's not something you buy in a store. It's just living food that's being made in pots and, things like that in every culture. Think Indian dosa batter, think Germany, and you think sauerkraut. Korea, you see kimchi and the ubiquitous yogurt without all of the sugar and all of that, but with live cultures like BB lactis 12 or Lactobacillus reuteri that really, really benefit the gut. So fermented foods can really feed your, bacterial strains and grow that diversity. But it needs to be a part of your daily consumption. You don't need a lot of it. You just need a small amount. And if you are struggling with bloating, or if you've been diagnosed with things like IBS or SIBO, fermented foods may not be the first thing that you add, because they're so potent and you don't have the bacteria to digest it. But in time, I've seen client after client able to handle fermented foods.
Yeah, and that's why I've also heard some people, they start to do a probiotic and it makes things worse.
Worse, yeah. And also probiotic is not like, you've got to be very careful. And this is something that a lot of people end up spending so much money on probiotic supplements, or they buy a yogurt because it looks really fancy and shiny, but if you look at the back of the yogurt container and it doesn't even say the name of the culture that's used, if it doesn't say the strain that we use in our yogurt is this, then don't waste your money. If they haven't really bothered to even write the name of the culture, then why are you spending money on something that's not going to help you? So it's really important to do some research. PubMed, Google Scholar, or my book has lots and lots of information of what kinds of probiotic strains are the most well researched, because not every strain is going to work. So you need to look at it. Let's say you have anxiety, depression, or anything like that. There are certain bacterial strains that have been studied especially for this. Go find your answers and then work with a practitioner and find the right kind of probiotic for you.
Yes, I think that's fascinating. I've read that before too, that there are these different strains for different diseases or symptoms that we might have that we can really target more. So you were talking, so having our healthy protein on our plate and then filling in with some fruits and vegetables, things that have fiber, and then maybe adding in some herbs, and then eventually trying adding in some type of fermented food, but doing all this slowly, like you said, because even if what we're doing isn't healthy for us, our body doesn't like drastic changes.
No.
So we want to change it slowly, especially with fiber, because that can upset our stomach. Even though it's good for us, we just have to do that slowly.
And this is something I personally went through when I had my gut issues. I mean, I grew up in a family that we ate a lot of fiber, right? So you would think that, oh gosh, of course, this is a no-brainer. I should be able to digest it. I had just strayed so far away from that kind of a diet and had to really kind of embrace this whole convenience of an American diet that I think I was not taking in a lot of fiber, to be honest. And then when I went into this whole journey of discovering the microbiome and fiber was the big thing, and my body couldn't digest it. It took me many, many, many months before. I still remember, Michele, like it was yesterday, the day I could have like sopa de frijoles, which is like black bean soup, without any enzymes or anything like that. And I was waiting for any signal from my body. Like, is it just going to start screaming? Nada, nothing, So I was like, wow, this is a sign that my body's accepting it. It has the right players. It's digesting the fiber. So I just want to say, have hope, because you have this incredible machine called body with beautiful systems in it. And it's always working for you, not against you. You just need to show the direction to it.
Yeah. And maybe our last thing we'll talk about before we end here is maybe just a client success story. So maybe someone that was in their 40s or 50s that made changes to their gut, and then sort of what were some of those changes that they saw? Like, what was that impact it had on them?
Yeah. Well, many stories. That's pretty much what my, let's see, I have a client who heard about me and came from London to work with me. And at first she said, I'm a CEO of a company. I don't have time to cook. I don't want to do any of this. So I very politely said, I'm sorry, I really can't teach you anything if you're not going to step into the kitchen and learn how to feed your body. And I'm not going to give you 3 or 4 hour recipes. I'm going to give you simple formatted recipes that you can make in a jiffy. It doesn't need to be just this complicated recipe. But she was still kind of, I thought, well, she's not going to, show up. But then 1 week later, she said, I'm going to fly out to San Diego. I want to work with you. So she actually moved here for 3 months, because this is someone who didn't even know how to boil an egg. I mean, literally did not know anything about the kitchen. So from there, we took her through that journey of 3 months of teaching her how to nourish her body, and really kind of help her with her autonomic nervous system. Sleep is monumental. Even one night of poor sleep can decrease your microbial diversity. And it can also have you looking for the wrong food, which is ultra processed, up to 500 calories more the next day. So she was nocturnal. She was working all night, pulling in those all nighters. So we had to change a lot of habits. But the good news is, and people would call her stinky behind her back. That was the most hurtful thing for her because she used to pass a lot of smelly gas. She had this hydrogen sulfide overload. And she was kind of berating herself. She said, I buy the most expensive steak. I buy all these things. Why is it not working for me? So it doesn't matter how expensive or great your food source is. How is it working for you? So she just got a window into all of those questions and about her body. And within 3 months, she had lost over 25 pounds and her gut had started healing. And the best part of the story is when I did go to London a couple of years later, she cooked a meal for me. I was like, wow.
That's wonderful.
There are many stories like that. And I know that women get tired of cooking and they just want to eat out. But you don't know what's in your restaurant food. You don't know what's in it. Their main job is to make the food really so yummy that you go back and buy more. Is that working for you is a question you need to ask yourself. Mm-hmm. You don't have to make this too complicated. Keep simple recipes that you can, cook very quickly.
Yeah, and I like that first start you did with that client. Like, I can't really help you if you're not willing to put a little bit of time in to cook. And I think as I talk to people, some of us are so busy and we have all these conveniences that we've really gotten away from the idea of even taking the time to cook something healthy in a simple way. I'm all about quick cooking too. Yeah. But we have to devote time each day to preparing food, and maybe we have leftovers some days, but we need to just change that mindset to that we need to just make time. This should be part of what it is, but it's gotten away in our culture or my life through our busyness. And we need to go back to that to nourish our body.
Yeah.
And like you said, too, regulating the nervous system, making sure that we're getting enough sleep, like all these bases we need to start with because they impact our gut, our hormones, all those different things.
Yeah, I know. In fact, I remember this one client saying, gosh, honey, I'm trying all of this fermented foods and my kitchen smells alive, is what she said. It's always kind of stuck in my head. And that's because we are live cultures. We're building things and this ecosystem in our kitchen. And the kitchen is really important because food can be poison or food can be medicine. And we make that choice daily on what we want it to be.
I love that. Food can be poison or food can be medicine. So everyone think of that the next time you go to eat, and not in a way to shame yourself or feel bad, but really to take a step back and look at, like, what am I eating? Is this nourishing me or is this not good for me? And just because it's all around in our culture or given out at schools or even hospitals, I think sometimes like, oh, the food they give in hospitals is so bad. We can make a different decision. Like that is something we have a choice about. There's a lot of things we don't, but we do get to choose what we put into our mouth, and we can change that. It's not going to be like a 180 the next day, but we can do that slowly and slowly, and we can get there.
Yeah. And the whole time when you're shifting from whatever diet that you're on right now to a more microbiome and brain and hormone supporting diet, is to check in with yourself. How am I responding to this food? Track your symptoms. If it's bloating, is this getting worse and then getting better? Or sleep. Track your sleep. All of that really matters, because without that data, it's really hard to know how something is really working for you. I think it's really important that we tap in and understand that we do have inner wisdom in our body, but if it's taken a different direction, intuitive eating, and I have a problem with that. I will tell you, because your intuition could be wrong. If it's never been right, what is the point following your intuition? Fix the intuition first, and that comes from really having wisdom about your body. And then you can intuitively eat, of course, because your body is not going to guide you the wrong way. But when it's so off, I would say stick to a system and really kind of build the intuition before you start trusting it.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to relearn, because
Yeah.
you can have the intuition, I should eat this whole thing of Oreos, but we know that is not good for us. So feel free if there's anything else you would want to share, and then also share where people can reach out to you. And I'll put any links in the description down below.
Well, the book is a great way to know what I'm talking about. It's called Flourish from Within, and it's sold on Amazon. I also have a Flourish Inner Circle membership. It's only $19 a month. And the reason I keep it really low is because I'm very passionate about the microbiome, and I want to really have this movement going, because 2 out of 3 Americans have not even heard the word microbiome. And I'm on a mission to change that. So when you come into my world and become part of the inner circle, you get lots of information. We have free challenges. We really take you to how to add more fiber sources. We bring guest speakers in. So that's where my whole business is leaning towards that. I'm stepping away from doing one-on-one into a collective group, and community is so important, so I have lots of cohorts, because someone coming from the Midwest or someone from a different culture will have a different mindset around food. Their body is going to be different. So I have different cohorts for different cultures. We need to take care of our bodies, and our culture is food is cultural, food is social, food is so important that it doesn't make sense for me to tell someone who's like from Mexico that eat a Mediterranean diet, and they are going to look at me like, what the heck? I don't know what that means. I need my taco now. It's so much easier to make the taco healthy. Add the fiber and the polyphenols to the taco. So that way, that diet is sustainable for my Mexican client or my Indian client who loves roti. I'm not going to tell him or her, don't eat rotis, Or for us in this country, we have grown to love different kinds of food. And you may say, I love Italian food. How can we make Italian food the healthiest possible food for you? That's exciting for me, I feel, because it connects us to ancestral eating, but to the modern world.
Yeah, I like how you share that at the end, because I think that is helpful for people to think too, is I don't have to completely give this food up. I can think of how can I make this healthy and fit in a way that actually nourishes my body. So I love that. All right. Yeah. And I do think we all need community, especially if people don't have people around them who are healthy, it's really hard. So if you need to get that community virtually, I think that's helpful. It's always helpful to find people where you live, but that's what we're meant for. And then when we see other people doing something that's inspiring to us, and we can motivate and we can encourage each other. Yeah. So I think that community aspect is great.
I think you have this too in my weight loss. I just love how they support each other. It's not just about a number on the scale. It's about, wow, you changed it this week. Let me help you. And they find accountability partners within the community that work for them. Like if you're in Oklahoma, then find someone local you can go to take a walk with. You are the 5 people you surround yourself with, as someone said, I can't remember who. And I think that is so true. You need to take other people on this journey with you.
Yeah. And so I'm a military spouse, so we have moved quite a bit recently, but that is what I do. I'll meet people through Facebook groups. I also homeschool, so I'll meet people through there, but I'll ask them, I'll ask them, do you want to go on a walk together? So some people aren't walkers really, but they'll still walk with me. But that's what I am basing sort of in how I connect with people. Let's walk and do something healthy together. So we can start that with people. We can lead that if no one's asking you. But I think that's a great way to do that and have some community.
Okay.
Well, perfect. Well, Nu, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Welcome. I'll have all those links in the description, so make sure you guys check that out. Check out her book, especially if you're having any gut problems, but really it's important for all of us, especially as we're getting older. All right, friends, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check the description for all the links to connect with Nu and to find out resources from me. Hope everyone has a wonderful week and you all keep on moving and don't give up on yourself.